Thank you very much for inviting me to this August forum. It's a great honor and good afternoon everyone. The title of my presentation is Assessing the Integration of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Engineering Accreditation Process. My name is Mohammad Tariq. I am professor and head of School of Engineering at National University of Computer and Emerging Sciences, Islamabad, Pakistan. I am also associated with the Pakistan Engineering Council as a program evaluator. So after getting full signatory status, the emphasis of Accreditation Council is on how to integrate these UN Sustainable Development Goals. And today my talk will be around this topic. From the point of view, from the perspective of assessment and evaluation. So I will briefly introduce what are UN Sustainable Development Goals and then how it can be integrated into the curriculum and into overall engineering programs and into overall the structure of institution or university. Then what kind of learning outcomes should be there and also the projects, different events that can be integrated and how it can be integrated and how as an evaluator you will be going to assess that. Then what are the level of community engagement of that program, and then the accreditation standards whether such as ISO, so whether there's particular standards, certification that have been done by the institution and at which level and how you will be evaluating them. Then institutional practices and how CQIR's continual quality improvement is being done by the institution. And then finally I will be presenting a case study of one of the institution of Pakistan regarding the integration of SDGs, and at the end I will conclude my talk. Here is a brief overview of SDGs. We all know that as the speaker before me, he was talking that he's from farmer background. So that is the overall crux behind this, that how to uplift the underprivileged society, and how to provide them equal opportunities. So that was the main idea behind this United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which actually is a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. Actually there are, in total there are 70, and starting from uplifting underprivileged societies, like there shouldn't be any poverty in the world, zero hunger, all the way to have quality life, quality education in the form of clean energy, how to curtail the climate change and perform climate action. So they were set forth by United States and United Nations in 2015, and it was intended to achieve this by the year 2030. So now the point is why and how to integrate these SDGs to engineering education. So engineering education is all about solving real world problems, and when we talk about real world problems, so actually we mean complex engineering problems, and for which these skills need to be incorporated. So if we closely see all these 17 SDGs, so one way or the other way, some engineering is involved behind it. Like we need to, adopt those techniques and technologies in order to achieve those goals. So first thing and foremost thing for an engineer is to have a good sound engineering background of that area, which we call that as, when we talk about Bloom taxonomy, so we call that as cognitive domain. That is the learning domain, we call it cognitive, and then the psychomotor domain, where he or she need to develop those skill set where with the help of leadership, communication skills and ethical practices, their problem, real world problem can be solved. So that is the idea behind integrating that into the education system. So everybody know that, but the thing is how to integrate that, because the first and foremost thing for a degree program, for an engineering program, is its curriculum. So in curriculum, how these SDGs can be integrated in order to achieve sustainability. So curriculum alone may not work. So for that, and it will not work, for that there should be organizational behavior and attitude toward achieve sustainability, and there should be facilities and operation for achieving that goals, and which combinedly, if we have all these resources, so we can achieve sustainability. So when it comes to the curriculum, the main thing is its course content. For example, I have background of computer and electrical engineering. So what kind of topics need to be incorporated? For example, clean energy. So for clean energy, the contents are related to renewable energy. The topics like interdisciplinary topic can also be introduced in the form of green energy, environmental sciences, economics, and social sciences, in order to achieve the sustainability in particular domain. Now, what are the learning outcomes? We call that of program learning outcomes. So in other words, that graduate attributes. So how an individual student or a graduated student, in that case, he or she must have those attributes in order to become an engineer. So which can be both in all three learning domains of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains. So it is expected from the data engineer that he must have knowledge and understanding of basic sustainable development principles, and also he or she must have that skill set and competencies to manage sustainable engineering project, are already perform these activities. So in order to assess that, you need to have learning outcomes. So that can be, if you incorporate the topics in the courses, so you have to perform direct assessment. So for that, you need to design the course learning outcome, and then there can be indirect assessment, like in the form of activities, event, conferences, seminars, outdoor activities, community engagement, etc. So problem solving, because it is not that easy to achieve all these goals. So for that, you need to think innovatively. You have to think think globally, but you have to act locally. That what are the local challenges in Philippines, in Myanmar may be different, but if we go further in Singapore, the challenges may be different. So these are problems, that how these problems can be achieved using that competency, that skill set that is developed. So for that, is an evaluator, or when you are performing an assessment, so you need to check that whether these projects or ideas are innovative, or they are there to solve those problems. So solve the problems to achieve sustainability. So focus of the student and faculty should be on those kind of projects which can solve those local problems, and plus broad those sustainability challenges, and also develop some startups and techniques so that these kind of local complex engineering problems can be addressed. Another thing as an evaluator you need to look for, and that is how effectively community as well as industry are engaged in regard to achieve that particular sustainability, or if we, to be more specific, that UN sustainability goal, and there are different numbers, we starting from no poverty 1 to no hunger all the way to the 17th SDG. So whether the university or institution, they develop a partnership with the local and relevant industry, with the government entities, with the NGOs, in the form of NGO, in the form of co-sponsoring any event, co-hosting an event, etc. Another thing is whether that particular program, they have outreach activities, they already engage the student to perform outreach activities, go to the community, if they have in the form of providing, engaging, helping technically in the form of installing renewable energy, in providing renewable energy sources, and also providing if it's come to clean water, so how to address the clean water issue and sanitation, etc. Another thing is about that institution, whether they are actually practices, they may have very good curriculum, they may have integrated those SDGs, but actually do they believe in sustainability? Whether they have sustainability policies, if policies are there, whether they are implementing those policies or not. Secondly, whether the overall campus is, whether they act in that, they completely shift to the renewable energy, whether they have paperless offices, whether they have like green campus, they have trees and many other things that involves with sustainability. So whether they perform those practices, so program came to be evaluated on the basis of that as well. Next thing is about the accreditation standard in order to achieve that sustainability. So by standard, we mean that different institutions like ISO, Green Globe, Slow Food, etc. So they have benchmarks about achieving different goals. So after that, they give certification like ISO 9001, 9002, etc. So we have to look for those certification, whether they have done all those certification as well. So the assessment, the method for assessing compliance, such as self-assessment and peer review, should also be there. Another thing is, let's say they are performing those activities. So is there any mechanism that they receive feedback from the community, from the partners, and also the practices, the policies they are implementing? So whether there is always a window for improvement. So do they have a mechanism to improve the overall score of particular sustainable development goal in order to achieve that sustainability? So that need to be checked and evaluated. Then there should be some performance metric and indicators to monitor the progress. There should be some key performance indicators that, let's say, what percentage should be achieved in other, so that it can be considered that that particular SDG score has been achieved. So now let's come to a case study from Pakistan. So on the recommendation of Pakistan Engineering Council, several Pakistani engineering institutions, they are integrating the SDGs into their engineering programs. So I will share some insight and best practices from one of the institutions. Due to the limited time, I may not go in detail of each and every institution, but here I can show, you can see here are different universities, they are being ranked in time higher education, that how they are being ranked worldwide in terms of sustainability. So you see their ranking, and many universities are in good ranking. And so I will only present the case study of the first one, which is NED, University of Engineering and Technology, which is located in the port city of Karachi. So here if we see, this is one of the institutions which has successfully integrated those sustainable development goals, and there, because primarily it's an engineering university, so they have integrated all in their engineering programs. Here if we see 2 SDGs where they rank overall their ranking is between 101 and between 100 and 200. But in terms of quality education, which is SDG 4 and SDG 12, they are like in top 100 worldwide. So how they are achieving this? Because for that they need to implement that practically. They need to have institutional policies and practices in order to achieve that. So let me give this one example. The first example, they integrated final year design projects in such a way that they mapped to all these 17 SDGs. And if we see the proportion in terms of mapping, so here in this case there were total 543 final year design projects, and they have mapped that to 17 SDGs, and the mapping is like 1075 instances, and out of which the proportion of SDG 9, which is industry innovation and infrastructure, is higher than SDG, which is decent work and economic growth, and so on and so forth. Here, they map. So the idea is that each and every final year project should be mapped to at least one SDG and see that how and which way they are contributing. And definitely for FYPs, they have their also learning outcome to which assessment and evaluation is done. But as an evaluator, we need to see whether they are evaluating in a proper manner, and they have a proper mechanism. They have those forms, and they have properly mapped to different graduate attributes or not. Next is mapping to the courses. That I mentioned that there may be courses where in order to bring the topic of sustainability, you need to introduce topics like renewable energy, green technologies, environmental impact, etc. So they have mapped it to different courses, and here again you see that SDG 8 in this case has a more proportion. Next, they have mapped different events to events such as conferences, seminars, webinar, workshops, right? So, in a particular duration, they conducted, say 1 year, they conducted 113 events, and those events were mapped to 17 SDGs with 245 mapping instances. And if you see here, the proportion of SDG 4, which is quality education, is higher in that case. And these events, outreach activities are also mapped, like community engagement and plus industry engagement and visit to industry, so that can be mapped as well. Next, they also mapped the masterpieces to these SDGs as well. Again, if you see, so SDG 9 has the highest proportion as compared to the other sustainable development goals. Similarly, postgraduate courses, so they also mapped 507 courses to these SDG, having 1,616 mapping instances. And here again, SDG 9 has the highest proportion. Now we see the overall mapping of the SDG with different impact components. So it is obvious that the proportion of combining all those impact components, that is undergrad courses, FYPs, similarly graduate courses and everything. So
Professor, would you please speed up a little?
Okay, so I'm concluding. This is second last slide. So to conclude this presentation, when as a program evaluator, when you evaluate your sustainability goals in order to achieve their sustainability, so these things you need to consider, that whether their programs, they have define objectives and scope, they involve stakeholders, they already have some baseline assessment to show, they are actively done gap analysis between objective and outcomes, they develop integration strategy already, they are implementing it, they also have a proper mechanism of CQI, they also have mechanism of monitoring and evaluating, and they continuously review and revise, and they have tools and resources to achieve that. The final thought is that engineering program should aim to produce not only competent engineers but also responsible global citizens who committed to sustainable development. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk, and the floor is open, and I would be happy to answer any queries or questions. Thank you.